because it's like it's finally time. We should do something, right? I've been collecting a ton of little parts here and there that I've been waiting to put on my celica. But like I want to get all of the maintenance stuff out of the way first, and I mean that last couple things we did, I was like really frustrated with it because of how long it took. So today, let's do something a bit more fun. My garage is still a mess with extra parts all over the place. But today, we're gonna work on this. I've been storing this for like a year now. So this is my genuine OEM TRD wing. You can see it says Toyota on here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. It's upside down, but so this was a genuine wing that I picked up about a year ago off of a car someone was parting out, and yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I made a video about it, of putting it back together. That's what those marks are, here and here. So it's kind of important that I mention this, but the video that I'm talking about where I initially tried to fix this wing, I never posted it because I lost the footage for that video. I don't know where it went, but I have maybe like 10 memory cards that I use, and none of them have the footage on it, so I just don't know where it went. It's just lost forever. But basically, I bought this wing off of somebody who was parting out their car. They just bought the car just to part out because they needed only a couple things for their project. So how this wing broke is kind of a mystery, because it was already broken when the part out guy got the car. It looks like someone tried to pull the wing up off the trunk without unbolting it, because basically it snapped clean off where the lines are, where the brown lines are, where I've melted it back together. And it's also snapped on the sides where it bolts to the side pieces. But basically I used a plastic welder. It looks like a soldering iron pretty much, and I just used that to melt the plastic and put some wire mesh in there to hopefully strengthen it. And the goal in today's video is to smooth it out as best as I can. So yeah, we're just gonna smooth this out. And you know what's crazy? I got this wing for like hella cheap. I got this wing plus a set of like rep side skirts, TRD rep side skirts, for $100. Basically the guy just wanted $100 for the skirts, and he was actually gonna throw out this wing because it was broken, and he insisted that it could not be fixed. He said he took it to a shop to try and have it repaired, and they said it was not worth the time. Basically telling him it wasn't possible, and I insisted to this guy that yes, it's possible, sell it to me, I'll fix that thing. So he basically just gave it to me with the side skirts, essentially. So yeah, I saved this thing from the trash, and I feel pretty good about it, even though it's taking so long to fix. I knew from the start this was gonna be a very tedious process to fix this wing and to try and make it look good again. And I know like the reason no shop would want to do this is because of how long it would take. And it probably will never be as strong as it was originally, but because I got it for so cheap and because this is a real wing, I really want to fix it, because buying a genuine TRD wing secondhand in good shape around here, it costs like $600 all day for one of these wings, and I don't have that kind of money. So for me, that's why it was worth it to try and fix this. I probably say it a lot, but you already know we're on a budget. We're on a tight budget, and that's because I'm in school still and I just want my car to look cool. But I don't have the money to just like throw away to get cool parts. So for me, it's always worth it to get something that's a little damaged and put in the time to fix it myself. Usually when I get something like this and I have to fix it myself, it's always really frustrating, but I get to learn like new skills and practice stuff, and in the end, when it's all done, it's usually hella satisfying. So here's what it looks like right now. It's pretty good. The middle is definitely deep enough. It's a little bit off. It's like a millimeter. Like this side's like a millimeter lower than this side, I think, and I can feel it, but like I don't think you could see it, so I don't think it'll be a big deal. But yeah, so the middle is deep enough, but this side's high and this side's kind of high. So I'm going to go back with the plastic welder and try to push these sides back down a bit. If I'm being honest, this whole process took me like maybe 2 weeks to do, and I think I spent maybe 4 hours a day just sitting in the driveway and like sanding this wing and then filling it and then sanding it again, because it was really hard for me to get the shape right, and I wasn't super good at doing body work, so I had to just keep trying. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably do it a little differently, and it probably wouldn't take me that long, but learning is part of the process. So anyways, so right here I started out by using a filler rod. It's basically just a stick of plastic, I guess, and I'm using my plastic welder to melt it and trying to fill up the middle where it's kind of down. So I quickly learned that filler plastic that I was using, it didn't really melt into the old plastic that well. So I decided to use plastic from this old engine cover. It's pretty sure it's ABS plastic, and that's what the wing is made out of. So my thought was that if I melt this, it should mix into the old plastic well, and hopefully it'll be strong. Plus, since it's plastic, it should remain kind of flexible, and hopefully I won't have any issues with it cracking later. I'm pretty tired. As you can tell, it's a lot later in the day, and I spent like most of my day sanding this wing down. So the car is messy because I haven't been driving it, but I'll clean it soon. But anyways, so yeah, so this is ABS plastic that I melted on top, because like this wing's ABS plastic, so it's fitting to use the same material. I used it to try and fill it out the best I can, and it's pretty close. I used like a big flat thing to check, and yeah, I sanded the other areas down too, and they're pretty smooth. This is the roughest area right here, so tomorrow I'm gonna pick up some Bondo and just do like a skim coat over this, and then we can paint it. Sounds simple, but it's not. I know you're not supposed to really use Bondo on plastic, but this is really hard plastic. It's not gonna flex at all, so hopefully it doesn't like crack later on. I know there are like flexible fillers you can get, but I can't get my hand on any of that. They're like none of the stores around carry it, and I'm not trying to pay a lot to order off like a random website. So it's the second day now of working on this wing and trying to smooth it out, and I'm starting off by peeling off this black vinyl. I think it's like a plasti dip that was sprayed on, and man, let me tell you, when I took this stuff off and I could see the original paint, that original paint looked so good. I was so bummed out that I had to repaint this thing, because the paint was in such good shape and it was the exact color for my car. It would have been so perfect if this thing just wasn't broken. Peeling off this vinyl stuff was actually pretty satisfying for me, because it was coming off in really big pieces, and that's
like the best for when you're pulling vinyl off. I've pulled vinyl off other stuff before, and I hate it when it just comes off in little pieces. So when these were coming off in big chunks, I was pretty thrilled. Alright, so now we're gonna lay down our first layer of Bondo. And again, I know this is like controversy. Like everyone says, like don't put Bondo on plastic. And like I knew that, but I also just didn't care enough to like try something else. So I'm doing this and just hoping for the best. And if it turns out bad, I only have myself to get mad at. So now we're trying to really fine tune and uh, only take off a small layer. And I'm using this tile that I have to try and get this as even as possible on both sides of the crack. It might look like everything's going very smoothly and in a good order and whatnot, but there is a lot that I cut out and there's a lot that I didn't film because I just needed to figure it out on my own. So let me just spare you all of that. I was surprised at how long it was taking me to get the shape right and smooth, and I think part of it was because when I was melting the plastic together, it lined up perfectly initially, but it takes a long time for the plastic to heat up and actually melt. So I think I probably put too much pressure on it, and it pushed the the cracked part down into the wing, and that's why I had these low spots and high spots. If I was to do this again, I definitely would have used some kind of plastic adhesive to first join the pieces together, and then I would have laid the the metal mesh on top, because when I was trying to melt that mesh into the plastic, it just wouldn't go very deep. There's nothing I can do now, but I just gotta hope that it holds up.
Sun's gonna set soon. I think I've got like another hour of daylight. Um, it's going pretty well. So this section and the bottom is pretty much where I want it. I think it's like as close as I'm gonna get to how it originally was. This part was the most difficult section because it was the most damaged, and I just put this last layer on maybe 10 minutes ago. It's not hard enough to sand yet, but we're getting really close to having a uniform shape. Same with over here. But while that's drying, I decided to work on this. This is one of the side pieces, and unfortunately this was also cracked. So I already used a plastic welder and patched this up. And I really put the metal in there deep, and I kept it really thin because the damage wasn't that bad. And I also want to keep it thin so that when I fill it over, I could keep the original shape as close as possible. It would just make it easier for me. There's also this spot up here. I'm gonna fill this in because why not? The other piece, this is the left side, so the right side piece of this is perfectly fine, so we don't have to touch that.
So this is getting pretty long, and I think this is a good place to stop for now. Hopefully in the next video this will be ready for paint, and I will be painting it myself, so stick around to see how that turns out.